What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest issues in this game, and it is revolving around time. Now, I am not oblivious that this game takes a lot of time to play. It's always been an issue with this game, but only until recently have I been really feeling that this game is just absolutely absurd in terms of the amount of time it takes to complete what you want to complete in this game. Now, I think somewhere along the line, Plarium forgot or, is unaware that this game is a mobile game. You're not supposed to be spending literally half the day or a full-time job's worth of hours playing on your phone with this game. But for some reason, this game is just absolutely ridiculous in terms of how much time it takes. But it also shows that there's just an immense amount of content in this game. So what am I griping about that I want to talk about in this video? First things first, I speak as a endgame player that can already tackle basically 99% of the entire game on full auto. And at this point, it's basically just optimizing whatever I need to optimize to speed things up. And because I'm an endgame player, I try to attack basically all areas of the game and try to acquire whatever I can whenever I can. Now, that being said, I do approach things with a efficiency mindset. So I try to do things to maximize my resource return for the resources I put out there. So obviously, if you don't care about all that, or if you're not at that level, like the amount of time that I spend in the game will not properly be reflected in your own experience. So I just want to get that out of the way first. But first things first here, we have this coalition event. So coalition event, if you guys look at it, it's basically just a massive, multi-day, multi-week quest, right? Or advanced quest. You have to complete all these things. These are in addition to what you already need to complete on the daily quest, as well as your already existing monthly and weekly quests already. So we have a completely different set of quests. You can even look at it as a separate set of missions that is basically time sensitive, right? Because we have a time sensitive coalition event. Now, there's a bunch of things that you need to think about for the coalition event. Basically, what kind of reward structure are you going for? What rewards are you going for? And you need to keep track of, what you're doing, right? How many points do you have? You need to keep track of all of that. And then, of course, how much time you have. So you need to keep track of how much points you have, what you need to do on the daily to maintain, your trajectory, your projected trajectory to land at whatever reward you want. Of course, if you don't care about all that, then, you just do whatever. But this is a massive, obviously mental load that you have to take on, right? You have to think about all this stuff. You have to complete these things on the daily. And that's just one thing that's happening right now, the coalition event. Now, we just came off of a traditional fusion for Tholin. So obviously you guys know the traditional fusion path. You have to collect champions to fuse them into champions to fuse them into champions. Now, obviously this is the most difficult type of fusion because it requires you to have all these resources to level up the champions. You have to have all the champions. You cannot miss the champions. And then obviously it's a time sensitive fusion, so you have to be mindful of the time. So there's just another thing on top of another thing that was already happening at that time, the coalition event. Now, immediately after the fusion, we have this Slayer Titan event as well. Now, the thing that Plarium has been doing, I think recently it has been reducing the amount of points they give per event, but they're increasing the amount of events. I don't know if this is a good thing, but it does increase the mental load that is required to keep track of everything and what you can skip and what you can't skip and what you want to achieve in the end. So obviously, if you're going for the 1500, milestone back here, you can only skip 250 points. Now you have to keep track of that over a 2-week time of what you have skipped already, 250 points worth of points. Now for me, so far I've been completing it all because that kind of reduces the mental load you have on your on this event. However, you're not playing as efficiently as possible because you might be forced or might want to skip something in the back half of the remaining events that you maybe don't want to skip. Maybe you don't want to skip those. So now because you did all the events, you weren't properly planning the whole way. So I feel like my efficiency is definitely dropping off because I'm just doing all the events, because that's the way to lessen the mental load of trying to figure out exactly what points I have remaining or what I can skip. So that is all going on at the same time. We got the Titan event, we got the coalition event, and then most recently we had multiple of these dungeons ending at the same time that require the same resource. We have the Spider Tournament and the Corrosa's Conquest Tournament, both of them ending at the same time, both of them requiring energy, and both of them cannot be done, basically simultaneously. You have to do them separately. Now, on top of all this, both of these are basically kind of new dungeon experiences, right? Because the Spire tournament is demon spawn only, so unless you already had pre-built demon spawns or have a big roster of demon spawns, this would be a bit of a challenge for you, because you basically need a new demon spawn team or champion to do this tournament, which requires time to test, time to gear, time to whatever. And then you have the Corrosa's Conquest tournament. Yes, this is not the first Corrosa's event that's happened, but the event dungeon is still relatively new, and a lot of people are probably not caught up, right? So now you have two events that require a little bit extra time just to put them together, maybe test them out, maybe gear them out, and they're ending at the same time with basically reduced time expiries. They only lasted 2 days. And if you wanted to complete the rewards in them, they would cost you several thousand energy each, which is, again, just massive expenditure and a lot going on. And as soon as those ones end, another turn attack ice golem dungeon opens. And then obviously we still have other things that are happening at the same time. We got the training tournament, and then we got this arena takedown as well. Now, this is great if you're super active in the game and you just, you spend so much time in the game, and there's lots of things to do nonstop. That's great. From a content creator perspective, it's actually good too, because there's a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about. But honestly, for the average player, I can't imagine anybody trying to do all this stuff and just not feeling overwhelmed. Now, keeping track of all this stuff is one thing, because these are events that happen in the present time and then expire shortly, and then new ones happen and all that. So keeping track of that is like one mental load. You also have your daily stuff that you should be doing if you want to capture all the resources in the game. So first we have live arena. I like live arena. I'm all about, I like PvP, right? It's fun. At least, it's fun. It's something for me to, push myself to be better in, etc., etc. But it takes so much time. And then, of course, the mental load of keeping track of your points to try to achieve the top resource milestones in this format. For example, if I wanted to get this 100 mythical mats, which I do, these are really hard to get, these mythical materials. And as an endgame account, you definitely want to get as much of the, super exclusive, like hard to get resources as you can, if you can get it. And I know I can get this, but it takes time, right? And it's just a ridiculous amount of time and mental load allotted to figuring out how much points you need, how many battles you need per day, are you on track, are you not on track, etc., trying to do all this stuff. So that's one thing, and that's something you just do on the daily. And obviously you have like other things like tag team arena. It takes freaking forever to do, especially if you're fighting like real teams, not like one-man teams. So that takes really a long time. If you're struggling in Doom Tower, for example, and it's not on full auto, thank God Doom Tower is on full auto for me. I just click the button and walk away, and it's quick. But if you had to slug through each one of these levels one by one, it's going to be an absolute pain. And then you have Curse City, which you're trying to do every day, and you're trying to maximize your resource return, especially in the later stages of the Soul Cross area. Some of these levels you still require to be manual play and all that, and some regearing is involved. And this just takes time, right? Like, it's absolutely insane the amount of time that you can spend in this game. And I haven't even gotten to the biggest time sink yet, and that is going to be Faction Wars. I know Faction Wars is going to be something that you kind of just do once and then you're done with it. But at this point in time, there's just so much to do, and a lot of it is time sensitive. For example, the Titan event, the Coalition event, they're time sensitive things, even like the live arena stuff, because if you don't get it, you're going to waste all the effort trying to get it. That's the thing, right? So you don't want to do that. So you need to have some kind of plan or planning involved so that you can achieve your goal without failing. So Faction Wars hard, it's something that, yes, you can hit it. You can get to the end, you can get Polara and all that stuff. But look, like for me, I'm just trying to go as far as I can without even worrying about the 3 stars. And even for my account at this point, I can't even, I am actually hard stopped at some of the levels without actually going full try hard, like manual, like re-gear everybody in proper sets and all that stuff. I can't just go in with my regular geared guys anymore and then still progress. So at this point, this content is just massive. It's just massive time spent here. Each one of these stages, basically for my account beyond stage 14, is almost like a full manual, full regear type of endeavor, even just to clear it. Not even talking about the 3 stars at this point. And you have to do this on the daily. It's absolutely insane right now. Again, these are, these are end game gripes. These are end game gripes, right? In the beginning, you just do whatever you can. Of course, there's some things that are going to hard stop you, right? And you're going to have to be okay with that. And for me, like, hard faction wars is one of the things that I'm kind of like giving up on, because it just takes too much time. I just don't have time to, 10, 20, 30 minutes per stage. That doesn't even include the regear process. So that has to give on the daily. And then we talk about the weekly clan boss stuff, and it's just absolutely insane. So we got the Hydra boss, which just takes a ridiculous amount of time, especially if you want to do it at a high level. Yes, we have the auto battles, which is great for, basically just auto completing some of this stuff. I don't mind that. I think that's a good, it's a huge feature. But if you want to do well in a clan that's, tries to do well or as well as possible, if you're trying to win those Hydra clashes, you really need to, learn how to play Hydra on manual so you can get maximum points. And then we have something like Chimera. Chimera is going to be something where there's a lot of RNG involved, and it takes a lot of trial and error. And yes, it happens only once a week, but those 2 keys, they can easily take an hour each, 2 hours each, 3 hours each, for maybe even way more. If you want to try to perform the best you can, for example, if your goal was to, top chest Ultra Nightmare, if you're at that stage in your account, you're going to need to probably do multiple tries, right? Or, you can try to, click it, walk away. There's no full auto feature yet. I imagine there's going to be an auto feature soon. Once this content, basically gets more figured out. It's already kind of on that way to getting figured out, but I would imagine an auto feature will come for this eventually. But yeah, this takes a lot of time. Both of these bosses take tons and tons of time. And it's just more mental load that you really have to deal with in this game. Not to mention, like, we are currently doing a Forge Pass as well. And you have to figure, you have to think about these quests. You have to incorporate these quests into your daily routine, or you have to revisit this and complete these quests as well. It's just an extra thing you have to remember on the daily. So we talked about stuff you have to do on the daily. We talked about stuff that's currently ongoing and that's providing, like, obviously insane amounts of, like, things to do, things to keep track of, and all that. And then we're talking about some other massive time sinks in this game, and it's just an ongoing problem here. Gear management. Managing your gear is just absolutely absurd in terms of the amount of time. You could easily spend an hour, 2 hours just doing a proper gear cleanse. Easily 2 hours. I would say easily 2 hours if you want to do a proper gear cleanse on your account. So I'm talking about like artifacts, I'm talking about accessories. It's just massive amounts of time you could spend just managing that part of this game. And this is just a normal thing in the game that everybody probably has to deal with. And I know some people with full boxes, full accessory boxes, and then full, like in boxes, which is just, completely daunting, right? Because how do you sift through all that stuff at this point in the game when more sets and more, powerful items are coming out into the game? Is just absolutely absurd. So I've listed a ton of things here that just take absurd amounts of time. Now, obviously, like I said several times in this video already, you don't have to go for everything. You don't have to go for everything. But is it even possible to go for everything anymore? Other than just having absurd amount of resources and you don't care about the efficiency of how you use your resources and just throwing them at events as they come so that you can clear them and then get the rewards from them. It's becoming more and more difficult to properly plan out what you need to do. There's just too many moving parts, too many new events. There's not enough heads up on a lot of them, in many cases. And then there's a lot of things you need to do on the day. Like I said, you need to manage your inbox. You need to do your Chimera live arena battles, Hydra battles. You need to be on top of that, right? There's just so much to do. And I don't see Plarium coming up with ways to really alleviate a lot of that time. Like I said, Chimera instant battles will probably come sometime in the future, similar to how Hydra and Demon Lord came before it. That totally makes sense. I would imagine some sort of auto battle will happen for Centranos eventually, similar to how Doom Tower got some auto, progression battles. And the big thing is, like, live arena, tag team arena. They're fixing tag team arena, but then they're just fixing the tiers on it. They're not really fixing like the time investment on it. Live arena, I mean, it's just a massive time sink. You can easily sink hours of the day into this format easily. Over the course of the day, yeah, many hours can be spent on live arena. And then don't get me started on the faction wars. It's nice to have the triple you can do the triple super raid on Faction Wars. That's actually kind of nice. I do appreciate that. And I think Plarium is taking some steps to alleviate some of that, but honestly, the time to spend in this game was already many hours of the day, and now they're just adding more and more content, which is great, but they're not really, they're adding more time into the game without giving us ways to, make back our time, right? They're just adding more time in the game. Now, this also creates massive sense of FOMO. That's the thing, right? Because if you're at a place in your account where you basically need all these resources, it's a massive place of FOMO. So if you're like, oh, if I can't do this, I'm going to miss this, or if I don't do this, I'm going to miss this. It's just massive point of FOMO. So I think, although I gripe about all this time stuff and mental load and all that, I want to make sure that you guys just focus on what you guys need to focus on. If you guys are going for a fusion, don't let other things get in your way and derail your fusion. If you guys are going for the 5-star soul, make sure you guys get that 5-star soul. Don't let other things get in the way. Don't let this coalition stuff get in the way. Don't let, even hard faction wars or whatever get in the way of getting your 5-star soul. These time sensitive things should take priority over whatever daily stuff you need to do. And I think at the end of it, it's just trying to manage everything and trying to maintain your focus in all this chaos. It's literally chaos awakes. There's so much craziness happening. I don't know if Plarium, it actually makes sense. Chaos awakes. There's just chaos happening in game right now. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about this. I don't like to gripe so much about this negative stuff. We all know that Plarium and Raid, they just command and, they need a lot of your time to complete all this stuff. And at times it seems absolutely unrealistic. Especially for a mobile game. Like I said, they forgot somewhere along the line that it's a mobile game. And at this point, it's a boiling point for me, just because, even I'm feeling it. And I already know this game, and I played this game for many years. I played multiple accounts on this game, and I'm feeling it now that it is getting a little bit ridiculous. And I'm just kind of just juggling things, trying to make it all work. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all this. Do you guys think I'm off the rails, or do you guys agree? Or do you guys have a mix of opinions as well on what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.